I don't think we're going to do it right now because it's so late, but if we do another batch this weekend, I read something one of my friends on Facebook did. Mm-hmm. He did a corn cob jam.
Corn cob jam? That just sounds disgusting.
You said the same thing about the, what was it? The
that does sound disgusting.
melon rind?
I did. And it turned out to be great. I guess we can try this corn jam.
Corn cob jam.
Corn cob. So wait, I'm putting a whole cob on my bread?
Not sure how you're supposed to eat it yet.
I'm using the baby corn?
No. Basically, you pull the corn off and use the cob.
Okay.
Greetings from Southern Yankee Homestead. If this is your first time, welcome. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. My helper is being very talkative today, so I got her in the frame. Hopefully that'll quiet her down a little. Yeah? Okay. I don't know how Han's going to edit this, but we're going to have some interesting stuff at the end.
Is that your co-VJ?
Yeah, that's my co-VJ. Video jam. So, anyhow, today we're going to try to make some corn cob jelly. We're going to try. As you can tell, you may or may not be able to hear me. So, if you remember one of our previous videos, we went ahead and did canned corn. Well, if you look to my right, your left of the screen, over here, we got a bunch of the corn cobs. Some are cobs that we peeled the corn off of. Some of them were cobs that were, well, they're a little dainty. They're too big to eat, but too small to peel. So we're going to start with making some corn cob juice, or corn juice if you so prefer. And it's very simple to make corn juice. We're just going to take these, chunk them up into some good little pieces, throw them in the pot with a bunch of water. I don't know if you have to chunk them up, but we're going to chunk them up just so that they fit in the pot better. Nice big sharp knife comes in handy. And keep your fingers clear. And because we got all this nice stuff on here, we're just going to go ahead and we don't want to leave any flavor on the table. So you can see, lots of chunked up corn cobs. 3 quarts. Now we're just going to go to here, crank it up on high, throw a lid on it. At this point, we have it on high. We're going to bring it up to a boil, then we're going to lower it back down just a little bit, and we're going to cook it for, I don't know, hour and a half, 2 hours. We're just going to let it sit there and basically steep. We're going to make a tea out of it. Corn tea, I guess. Just boil the ever-living crap out of it, try to get as much of the corn flavor out of the cob as possible before we finally throw the corn cobs into the compost. So I guess we'll be back in a couple hours once this is steeped and we have our corn tea. Well, it's been a few hours, and our corn cob tea is ready. So, at this point, we need to filter this. We're going to use this pot again, so we're going to just set this off the side. And I have a very large colander with some cheesecloth at the bottom. We're basically going to use that to go ahead and drain out our corn cobs, because we want to get as much of this juice as possible. I don't know how much of it we're going to use, but I know how much of it we won't use if we don't get it out of there. Oh, we let this cool a little too so it doesn't burn us. Alright, we're going to let that drain. Alright, we've been about 5 minutes or so, and this is pretty much done dripping at this point. It's dripping a little bit, but not much. So we're going to take the original John Wayne toilet papers and we're going to compost them. And while I get this reset, if you don't understand that reference, prior to the advent of toilet paper, corn cobs could be used for your duties at the outhouse.
Ooh, that would be rough in my bottom.
Well, they didn't use, back then you'd break the corn off them and then you'd rough up the cob before using that. Well, depending on the time of year and where you're at, leaves weren't available. That, or if you're up in like the,
I'm wearing.
well, the other one was the Old Farmer's Almanac. In fact, if you next time we're at Tractor Supply, remind me. We'll pull up the new Farmer's Almanac. It still has a hole in the upper corner. That's because you use it for a year and then you hang it in the outhouse and you're supposed to use it for toilet paper. What they have out on those ships. Rough, tough, and don't take shit off no one. Alright, we have our cheesecloths set up. What we're going to do now is we're going to make a huge mess by draining this into it and try to catch any of the little bits. So we're just basically filtering the corn juice. I'm going slow because at some point I'm going to have to pull this off because, well, my bowl is smaller than my amount. Alright, we had to have a discussion behind the scenes because, well, we got a lot more liquid here than I thought we were going to have. So we're going to have to adjust accordingly. Might have to pause and go to the store to get more pectin. I'm going right to 8 cups. There we go. And we're going to use the same pot we had before. So we're going to take this, let me back up. We have the pot that we originally boiled the corn cobs in. We're going to pour the juice back into this pot. Before, off screen, while Hun and I were having a discussion, I rinsed this pot out to get any grit and corn out because, we don't want grit and corn in our jelly. We want the flavor, not the feel. At this point, I want to add a little disclaimer. First disclaimer is this is our first time making corn cob jelly. We don't even know if we're going to like it. We figure we might, but we don't know. Second part, all the recipes that we found online use a specific type of pectin. The problem is we don't have that pectin. We're using the Shore Gel pectin. We're using the low sugar or no sugar pectin. So their recipes and our recipes are very different. So what we discussed and what we're going to do, since we have 4 quarts in our pot back here, we're going to use the chart on the back, which says for the cooked recipe we're going to use 3 quarts of juice and to 4 cups of sugar. We're going to do a half batch, so 4.5 quarts to confuse the hell out of you and us. Alright, so follow the recipe on the back. 3 quarts, 4 cups of sugar. Before we get to that though, 3rd time's a charm, I'm sure. 4th time's a charm, I don't know, we lost track, but we got our mind around it. It took us a little bit. But if you're going off the back of the box says 3 quarts to 4 cups. The thing is, the 3 quarts on the back of the box is unprepared. So that'd be the corn cobs. Well, we got it prepared, and we've got 4 quarts in the pot, plus 1 extra pint or cup on the side. So going off the recipe that is inside the box, we need 4 of these boxes, and unfortunately we only have 2. So now I need to go to the store and buy 2 more boxes of low sugar or no sugar Shore Gel. Along with that, we're going to save this 1 cup because we're going to do a test on it. We're going to be doing water bath canning, in which case if you're doing water bath canning, that is for high acidity items only. So use a pressure canner if you're doing low acidity items. So we need to increase the acidity in this to make it safe for eating. Now you can use lemon juice. This is a lemon juice I picked up. It was the only one available at our local store. The regular bottles wasn't there. I wasn't going to use concentrate. The problem is, if we add lemon juice to this, we're going to increase our liquid volume past what this is supposed to set up for. So what we're going to do, I happen to find this, is citric acid. This will dissolve and shouldn't change our liquid volume all that much because it's going to dissolve. We're going to increase our acidity. How do we know what our acidity is? Well, through the wonders of Amazon, we went ahead and ordered this little roll. This is a paper pH tester. So what we're going to do, we're going to pull a little bit off, and then we're going to use our residual liquid here. We're just going to give it a dip. I'm willing to bet that this is going to be pretty well neutral. We're not going to be on the acid scale. What we want, according to the scale, this is pretty much negative. This is actually where our water is. We want somewhere on the lower number scale, somewhere between a 5 and a 4. That's acidic. The higher number is alkali. We don't want alkali, we want more acidic. So what you just saw me do, I pulled a piece off and I dipped it in the water, and we're waiting to see. You can give it a minute because it will change the color of the paper. As of right now, it looks like, well, we're definitely not over here. It looks like we're somewhere around a 6. So we're very neutral. Now, then I throw that on the floor. Just so you know the paper's not broken, I just threw a couple drops of lime juice in our bowl. Well, here's our lime juice. Where are we at here? Our lime juice is about a 2. Yeah. Somewhere between a 1 and a 2. We're right there. Doesn't have to be exact. So that's what we're going to end up doing. We're going to end up using citric acid to adjust our pH to bring it to somewhere around a 5. We want it at 5 or 4. I think technically you want 4.6 for an acidity or lower. So 4.6 to a 0, although a 0 is battery acid. Regardless, I gotta go to the store, so I need to put on some pants. TMI. I'm wearing shorts at least. Recording. Alright, I just got back from doing chores. Our battery is about dead on this camera. We'll replace it here in a second. But while I was gone, Hun brought the Cob Jelly up to boil, a rolling boil, and then she added the sugar with the pectin in it and brought it up to another rolling boil for a minute and then pulled it off the heat. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and fill as many jars as we have and see where we end up. The jars are over here. They're already heating. I'm about to just start pulling them out and start filling. Heat of the moment when we were setting this up, I'm not sure if we got it or not. We are going to water process these for 5 minutes as per the instructions. I think the pint jars are supposed to go longer, but we just have a mix and match of half pints, quarter pints, pints. So we're doing 5 minutes. If it don't seal, That's the one we'll go ahead and throw in the refrigerator and use immediately. Other than that, we got 3 minutes to the last batch. Did taste some, we licked some out of the pot. Some say it tastes like corn. I can see that. It's got more of a caramelly flavor to it though, almost like a mild berry. It's the best way I can explain it. We'll get Hunt out here to explain what she thinks of it in a little bit. Alright, well, here we are. So we ended up scrambling together a bunch of pints, half pints, quarter pints. So we got 3 sample jars, quarter pints, then we've got 15 half pints, 2 wide mouth pints, 1 bell-shaped pint, that's going back to the neighbor, and 1 full pint. Sorry, 17 half pints. There's 2 hiding back here. And all of this from something that we normally would have thrown away. Literally, it's corn cobs and water, and we added sugar. That's what our grandparents used to do. Make the most of what you have. So I guess that's the theme for this and for a good portion of the channel. We try to use what we have, not always what we need. Although, we end up with what we need by using what we have. Food for thought. I hope the instructions came out okay in this, because there was a lot of confusion in the middle. First time doing this, not a whole lot of good recipes, especially using a specific type of pectin. We probably could have followed the other recipe, but they were talking about adding calcium water or something strange like that. Yeah, we just gave up on that. I don't know, 8 hours or so for this to cool down so that we can see if it sets correctly. We might be able to do it sooner. We got a half pint in the refrigerator right now that didn't fit these. So we'll be back once we know what this actually did. This is what we had left over in the pot last night. We just poured it into a jar and put it in the freezer. I'm trying to place the flavor. I mean, it doesn't taste like corn, but according to what I read online, it's supposed to taste like honey. It doesn't quite taste like honey either. It almost has a grape jelly flavor to it. So, that being said, hope you enjoyed this video. I'm gonna enjoy my breakfast. Yes, peanut butter and jelly waffle sandwich. It's what's for breakfast. Don't judge. But, again, hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you on the next video. Bye.